Welcome to Mindset Mondays, the weekly bite-sized podcast designed to build a happier, healthier headspace. Think of it as a learning snack for a morning commute to set your week up right. I'm Mark Holloway, and today we're discussing the shift from talking about mental health as something we fix to mental fitness as something we train. Because what if your mind isn't just something to protect when it breaks? What if it's something you can strengthen every day? Let's start with clarity for the purposes of this podcast. Mental health is the state of your psychological and emotional well-being. It's about whether you're experiencing conditions like anxiety, depression, or stress, and how well you're functioning day to day. It's reactive. We usually talk about mental health when something is wrong. Now contrast that with mental fitness. Mental fitness is the ability to maintain psychological resilience, emotional balance, and cognitive agility, enabling you to navigate life's challenges more effectively. It's proactive. It's about training your brain the way you train your body. And society is slowly shifting. We're moving from I need help because I'm struggling to I train my mind so I can deal with life's curveballs more comfortably. There's science behind this shift too. Research from the American Psychological Association shows resilience is not a fixed trait. It can be developed through repeated behaviours, things like cognitive training, social support, coping strategies, and self-awareness and self-care. So if mental fitness is like physical fitness, then habits are your reps. Let's talk about 3. 1. Emotional labelling. A UCLA study found that simply naming your emotions reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, responsible for activating the body's fight or flight response. So instead of I feel bad, try I feel overwhelmed because I'm uncertain. That tiny shift moves you from reaction to regulation. 2. Stress exposure. Elite performers don't avoid stress, they train with it, accept an amount of it. Cold showers, public speaking, difficult conversations. A study in psychological science showed that moderate stress exposure improves long-term resilience, what researchers call stress inoculation or microdosing discomfort. You don't build resilience in comfort. The trick is to move into the stretch zone, but not so far that you approach the panic zone. 3. Cognitive reframing. Same situation, different meaning. The Roman Stoic Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it." Modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is built on this exact principle. Your thoughts aren't facts, they're interpretations. For example, next time you make a mistake, don't think, "I'm an idiot." Reframe with, "I made a mistake, but I can correct it." Now let's focus, particularly in this distracted world in which we live. Because, let's be honest, focus today is under attack. Notifications, social media, infinite scrolling. Our attention is being monetized. Research from Stanford University found that heavy multitaskers perform worse on memory and attention tasks. Not better, worse. So mental fitness today requires attention training. Want a practical strategy? Think attention reps. Treat focus like a muscle. Practice 10 minutes of deep work. No phone, no switching tasks, no disturbances, and then build up. It sounds simple, but it's not easy. We're so used to reaching for our phone or responding to that text. And that's the point. Because every time you resist distraction, you strengthen control. Even samurai warriors train not just physically but mentally. Through zanshin, a state of relaxed alertness, they practice being fully present, even in chaos, not reacting, not drifting, just aware. In a world of distraction, presence becomes power. Now let's move on to emotional stamina versus motivation. Because here's a hard truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But emotional stamina, that's what keeps you going when motivation disappears. Think of emotional stamina as your ability to stay steady under pressure. Keep showing up when it's hard, not collapse when things don't go your way. A study from the University of Pennsylvania on grit found that persistence, not talent or motivation, was the strongest predictor of long-term success. So the question becomes, can you keep going when it's uncomfortable? Because mental fitness isn't built on your best days. It's built on the days you don't feel like it. And sticking with it is a predictor of success. Another key skill is how to stop spiraling mentally. We've all been there. One thought leads to another, then another, and suddenly you're stuck in a loop. It's called rumination, the repetitive and passive focus on negative thoughts and emotions or past experiences, often without even reaching a solution. And it's a negative time sucker. So, here are 3 tips to interrupt it. 1. Pattern interrupt. Change your state physically. Stand up, move, splash cold water on your face because your brain follows your body. 2. Name the spiral. Say it out loud. I'm spiraling right now, because this activates your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, and can get you out of that loop. 3. Shrink the timeline. Instead of, what if this ruins everything? Ask, what matters in the next 10 or 15 minutes? This grounds you in action instead of anxiety. A study published in Nature Human Behavior found that rumination decreases when individuals shift from abstract thinking. For example, why is this happening? To concrete thinking. For example, what can I do next? So let's close out with 2 simple mindset shifts you can implement today. 1. Shift from fixing to training. Stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what can I train today? Is it focus, patience, emotional control? This removes self-judgment and replaces it with self-growth. 2. Shift from feeling-based action to value-based action. Instead of, I don't feel like it, shift to, does this align with who I want to become? Your feelings fluctuate, but generally speaking, your values don't. Now, mental health matters deeply, but mental fitness, that's how you prepare for life before it tests you. So don't just protect your mind, train it, because the stronger your mind becomes, the less fragile your life feels. Now remember, I'm not giving medical advice, just my thoughts on how to be a better you. If you're struggling with a mental health issue, please discuss with a suitably qualified professional. So, that's it for today's Mindset Mondays. If today's episode resonated, share it with somebody who's ready to level up, not just survive, but grow. Until next time, train your mind like it matters, because it does.